Hey, welcome. Today, we're jumping into one of the most intense and pivotal moments in all of human history, Jesus' prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane. Now, this is a scene most of us think we know, but when you really dig in, there's a depth to it that changes, well, pretty much everything. All right, let's get into it. It all kicks off with this incredibly raw human cry. Abba. That's not some formal title. It's like saying dad or daddy in Aramaic. It's so intimate. And it's followed by this gut-wrenching plea, and then this total surrender. This is way more than just a prayer. This is history pivoting on a single sentence.
So you have to ask yourself, what is actually happening here? Is Jesus having second thoughts? Is this a moment of weakness, of him maybe wavering on the whole mission? Well, our source material makes a powerful case that it's something way, way more profound. This isn't about doubt at all. It's a demonstration of the incredible cost of perfect obedience.
First up, let's talk about the setting. The whole thing goes down in an olive grove, Gethsemane, which literally means oil press. I mean, talk about pressure, right? And Jesus doesn't just pray once, he prays this same prayer 3 separate times.
He keeps asking for this cup to pass from him. Now, what on earth is this cup? To get that, we actually have to rewind and look back into the Old Testament, where the idea of a cup is this really powerful and honestly pretty terrifying symbol.
So here's the key. The cup isn't literal. It's a heavy, loaded metaphor for God's judgment, his righteous anger against all the evil and injustice in the world. It represents a destiny that has to be fulfilled. When a prophet talked about someone drinking the cup, they meant that person was about to face the full, unvarnished consequences of their choices.
And listen, this isn't some subtle, poetic idea. The prophet Isaiah is incredibly blunt about it. He talks about Jerusalem having to drink the cup of his wrath right from the Lord's hand. It's a symbol of a judgment so overwhelming it makes you stagger.
And if that wasn't enough, the Psalms add this really visceral detail. Psalm 75 paints this picture of a cup full of foaming wine well mixed. Think of it like a potent cocktail of judgment that the wicked have to drink down to the very last drop. This is the cup that Jesus is staring down in that garden.
And this is where it all clicks into place. What happens in Gethsemane isn't some isolated event. It's actually a direct, intentional reversal of another choice made in another garden, thousands of years before, the Garden of Eden.
Just look at this stark contrast. In Eden, you have the first Adam, who chooses his own will. He grabs for autonomy, basically saying, not your will, but mine. But in Gethsemane, you have the second Adam, Christ, who lets go of his autonomy, saying, not my will, but yours. In Eden, an act of eating brings death to the world. And now in Gethsemane, an act of drinking this cup is about to bring life. It's the very hinge on which all of salvation history turns.
Okay, so this brings up a really complex but crucial theological question. How can Jesus be in such agony, sorrowful even to death, and still be perfect and sinless? The whole answer is wrapped up in understanding his two natures.
Let's break this down because it's huge. As a fully human being, Jesus had a human will, and that will naturally and sinlessly shrank back from the horror of suffering and death. I mean, whose wouldn't? But as fully God, his divine will was perfectly in sync with the Father's rescue plan. So the miracle of Gethsemane, the absolute core of it, is in that third step. His human will freely chooses to align with his divine will, all out of love. The struggle doesn't show a flaw, it shows the immense cost of his obedience.
Now remember we said he prayed 3 times. That number 3 is absolutely not an accident. In Jewish thought, repeating something 3 times is for emphasis and confirmation. It's a way of saying this is established, this is complete. And you see this pattern of 3 pop up over and over again during the Passion story, almost like a deliberate teaching tool.
And you see this teaching play out in these amazing contrasts. Jesus prays 3 times, showing steadfastness. What do his disciples do? They fall asleep 3 times, showing our weakness. Peter denies Jesus 3 times out of fear, showing our deep need for repentance. And then later, what does Jesus do? He restores Peter with 3 questions, showing God's incredible restoring grace. It's this beautiful pattern contrasting divine faithfulness with our human frailty.
So, what does any of this mean for us today? Why does it matter? Well, because this whole event isn't just a piece of history to study, it's laid out as a pattern for our own lives. Jesus' encounter with his cup fundamentally changes our encounter with ours.
And here's the great exchange. That cup of wrath, the one filled with the judgment we all deserved, Christ drank it. He drank it all, in the garden and on the cross. And because he drank that bitter cup, we get offered a totally different one, the cup of blessing, the cup of mercy, the one we share at the communion table. He takes one so that we can receive the other.
So what Gethsemane gives us really is a four-step pattern for our own struggles. First, lament honestly. Bring your real pain to God. Don't hide it. Jesus didn't. Second, persevere in prayer. Go back to him again and again. Third, move towards that moment of consent, of trust, where you can say, okay, not my will, but yours. And finally, having done all that, you get up and move forward on your mission, just like Jesus did when he said, rise, let us be going.
So we end right here. From a garden of disobedience to a garden of perfect consent. From a cup filled with wrath to a cup overflowing with blessing. The entire story of redemption hinges on this single, costly moment. And the final takeaway isn't just an idea to think about, it's a personal declaration. It's the stunning realization that what happened in Gethsemane wasn't just for the world in general, but for you. And it leaves us with the question, what does it really mean that he drank that cup for me?